manner to respond to. Very unfortunate to me, manner in which to respond. And there are several options that I think were there that could have been responded to in a manner that was not responded to by the persons who did what law enforcement did in Richland School District 2. It was a very aggressive manner, and I don't see the need for such an aggressive manner in law enforcement.
Dr. Randolph, has the NAACP or anyone affiliated with it done any specific tracking numerically in recent years of incidents such as this, specifically with SROs at Richland District 2 schools acting aggressively toward African American students, and or a disparity in the number of expulsions or suspensions toward African American or minority students?
There have been some complaints by other members of Richland School District 2 have raised concern about the questions were that they were not given a fair chance in the aggressive responses that they've made towards certain students. And that is a concern, and it is a matter that is investigated by law enforcement.
Do you believe that, as one person that I saw was quoted as saying, that there is a culture of discrimination within Richland too?
Well, you know, we have to, the truth of the matter is, again, it is easy to report that race is a problem in America. Remember, this is depending on where you want to go or where you want to start. This is South Carolina. W.E.B. Du Bois in 1902 responded as an NAACP member, responded that the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line. And he responded that how far the difference of color still responds and how much of a problem it is in America. And unfortunately, while we don't like to talk about the truth of the matter, remember, this is the Confederate state of America. This is the first Confederate state that conceded in the country, the first one to succeed about the disparities in this country and the mistreatment of certain people. And unfortunately, still today, unfortunately, we still have that problem in South Carolina and in America, where race is still America's #1 problem. Any other questions? Any other concerns?
Do you think we still need to keep the SROs in the schools?
Well, I think those that respond in the manner of law enforcement that they should remain, yes. I think it is still yes and safe. But I do think that there are also certain things that we can also do. There are some things that I will suggest to the committee that responds, the Citizens Advisory Committee. There are committees that can be addressed and should be addressed as to what they should and should not do. It is no secret that the officer responded in the most aggressive manner that he could have possibly responded to. Did I think it was proper for him to dump the student out of the chair and then throw her across the room? Of course not. There are several things that were done improperly, and we will respond to suggestions and recommendations to respond in humane way for persons to respond. The officer responded in a very aggressive and inhumane manner, and of course the record of officers also should be studied, and their records should be reported. on all issues. And that will tell us the type of incident, the response to certain incidents, and this one was responded to in the most negative manner. And again, student as well as a law enforcement officer responding in the manner in which the officer responded was not proper, not good, not correct. There are several ways that I suggested and saw things that I thought should be discussed and applied that would be fitting. Whenever you have a situation where the student doesn't respond, I don't think it's quick to call and address students as if though they're being arrested. For what? For what? And I think as we observed what took place, we'll see that was this an issue where law enforcement should be addressed? And of course, it is too easy, unfortunately, where we still find so many students immediately suspended. And is a student suspended based on race? Well, look at the number of students who are suspended based on their race and those that are suspended who don't fall into that group. And which tells you a lot about the bad things about school districts across the state, and not just in the state. If we are honest and truthful, we can say that about school districts in America. And again, W.B. Du Bois' statement that the problem of the 20th century is still the problem of the color line. Quite prominent. Any other? Yes, sir.
Sir, I just wanted to clarify. So, for those of us who are from out of town, there's a citizens advisory board that's convened by the Richland County Sheriff, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Is your understanding that they, from talking to the sheriff, that this advisory board is going to be one of the entities that's going to investigate this case?
I can tell you now the answer is yes.
Okay.
I called the sheriff on last night. He was in Chicago. And I told him that requested. I'm only one of the 18 or 19 members of the advisory committee, and I did let him know that this was a matter that I wanted to request to have the advisory committee to serve to investigate what took place. And the sheriff's department did say that that will definitely be brought before, and the meeting will take place probably in, I don't know the exact date yet, but within the next week or so.
And again, you're holding out on really discussing whether or not this issue has anything to do with racism until this group can come to some conclusion.
Yes, I think it needs to be addressed not just by me, but I'm comfortable saying that race is a factor. Race is indeed a factor. And of course, people will admit something else and say that it isn't. But we do have a problem in South Carolina, and we do have a problem in America, where students, and it doesn't matter what manner in which you report what happens, it does have some concerns with race.
Yeah, I'm confused. You're saying that in this particular case, race is indeed a factor?
Race is always a problem. Yes.
How in this case do you think that race played a part?
Well, I don't ever recall a student who's female or a student that is not of color having, maybe once or twice it has happened, but I don't hear tell of the incident occurring where it definitely affects white students.
This kind of incident?
Yeah, it has. It doesn't. If it does, I don't think I missed it, but I know what I see. And I am happy that the FBI is investigating this, as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office is also. I've spoken with, and let me just state, that this morning when I called the U.S. Attorney's Office as well as the FBI, I had already been responded to by both the FBI as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office. They've already responded to the event from yesterday by Richland County Sheriff's Department. Mm-hmm. Any other response or statement from anyone? And Mr. Jake, were you about to ask something? You had something?
I think you covered it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey,
Lonnie,
yes.
Leon Howard has suggested that the officer here should be criminally charged and taken to Elmer Land. Do you agree?
I think he should be charged, yes. But again, I do want to give him, I believe in giving a fair chance. And this officer's response was not what I would consider to be a fair chance. And I expect the response to be such that they respond to how he acted. And I do feel that the district will respond the manner in which they should based on how he acted. Very aggressive manner, and very unfortunate because I just did not see where the response that for not leaving the school as the individual was recommended, that the response would be in such a way to where it would require the student to be thrown across the room and emptied out of the chair. I just don't believe in that. That's me. And I don't see where that was the proper way to respond to it. And, several things. If the student did not respond the way that they should, I think a chance should have been given to the parent, our parents, to have the school removed from school. The student removed from school. There are several ways that you can respond in a peaceful and non-violent manner. And the manner in which this was handled was a violent manner. Very violent manner. And
Mr. President, I would add one thing to that question. I think we want to see that the investigations proceed on each level, the federal, the school district, as well as the Sheriff's Department, through the committee and through their internal mechanisms. Before we determine whether he should be charged, we believe that it is a serious incident that took place at the school. We believe that her civil rights were violated, and that the investigations should support that, and then an appropriate charge should be made to the officer at that time. There was a question regarding the SROs, and the matter is being studied, of course, here and actually across the country. And the association has a policy that's being researched right now with regard to the SROs in schools. So we're going to be informed by some of that research and discussion that's going on in Baltimore and other state conferences across the country, and determine what's going to be the best policy approach for the association overall. Thank you.
mm-hmm. Any other questions, concerns? Thank all of you for your reporting today, and thank you for coming to the press conference. The South Carolina State Conference of branches of the NAACP will respond and has responded to all law enforcement agencies that we wanted to respond to address this matter, and want to thank each agency for addressing the issue. And We will monitor the address and what response is made. If it's the right response that should be made, we will identify that. If it's not the right response, we will definitely make sure that the right response is addressed.
Thanks, Dr. Reynolds.
Thank you.
Thank all of you. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, that is a wrap on that press conference. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you the video again if those of you missed it the first time around. This is the video that they are addressing of the student being dragged inside that classroom.
Hands behind your back. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Hands behind your back. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Give me your hands.